Hello and welcome. I'm Gamer John. You can call me John. Today we are doing something a little bit different. We're gonna just chat and hang out for a while. I may end up switching over and playing a game at some point, but right now, uh, I just want to hang out for a little bit. Um, See where this goes. Talk about a couple things that's going on, uh, both in my life and something that's outside my life. And mm, thanks, ma'am. Not accepting calls right now. It's the weekend. Um, but yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm just setting up my chat right now. Oh, do I got someone else on already? That could be interesting. Turn off my Bluetooth. If you are here, I'm Gamer John. Welcome. So we're doing a just chat today. Like I said, we may switch over to a game at some point. The main focus for today is conversation. Conversation about a couple things. One, where am I going as far as streaming is concerned? Things that have changed in my life obviously are going to impact that. A couple passions of mine. I just kind of want to talk and hang out with you about, let you know what I think about certain things, and that way we can kind of garner a closer relationship. So, first off, just to go ahead and give a brief overview of what we're going to go over, kind of bullet points for today. So, one, I am going to talk about changes in my life, work that I've started, my schedule, and how that's going, how it's going to affect my streaming. Uh, Second thing we're going to talk about is something that I'm actually very passionate about, uh, which is the SCP, Secure, Contain, and Protect uh, collective writing project. And the fact that it's kind of under attack, I mean, is more or less it's the only thing you can really say. It's under attack. And I wanted to actually go over some of my more favorite SCP articles, read them out to you. And these aren't written by one individual. Like I said, it's a community writing project. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have written articles for this, and they all work within the same universe, quote unquote universe, with similar formats and with continuing storylines from other authors' stories. And it's kind of the foundation of it. Foundation. That's also what it's called, the foundation. Um, and then, like I said, if we get through a good number of these, and I feel satisfied that I've kind of, expressed my attachment to it, and I feel like I've kind of shown you some of the high points of it, then maybe we'll go ahead and switch over and play a game for a little bit. Get a little bit used to you know what my name is Gamer John. I'm supposed to be playing games. You're probably wondering why isn't he playing games? It's Gamer John, but he's not playing games. It's because important stuff's happening. So I just want to keep everyone in the loop. So uh, so first off, me. Uh, Started a new job this last Thursday. Um, it's nothing glamorous or anything like that. It's in the same vein of a field I was working in, which was insurance. So I'm working for in the insurance industry. I'm not going to get any more detailed than that. Um, it's a Monday through Friday job, 8 to 5, and I've found because before that, my previous job, I actually worked from home. I was a remote employee for my previous company, and it was fantastic. I'd take the early shift because I'd literally roll out of bed, get cleaned up a little bit, then go into my office and then go to work. So like there's no transit time. I didn't have to deal with like a bunch of setup at my desk. I was going to work in my PJs. It was great. Um, the time of that company came to an end, unfortunately. Remote work is often contract and on a pretty short leash as far as that goes. So that job ended. That was back in November. Here we are now in January, the end of January, last Thursday, end of January, and I got hired on at a company that helps do like certification, insurance, and background checks and things like that for doctors. So that's what I'm doing. It's kind of in the same vein of my previous job, in which I was helping doctors and staff work with their software, do a lot of billing and insurance work. So I'm pretty well versed in that. So can I just maximize this? No, just grab and drag. Oh no, that looked terrible for a hot second. Anyways, so yeah, now I'm working for this other company. It's 8 to 5, and so that has thrown my entire gaming schedule just through the loop. Uh, I get home at like 5:30, 5:45 after driving through traffic for about a half an hour, pretty exhausted. So, and especially now getting on a new sleep schedule. So, I kind of just want to let you guys know where myself is as far as my Monday through Friday streaming. Um, Obviously, if I get home at 6:40, 5:45 or so, and I'm haggard and I got to go to bed in like 5 hours to get up to do it again, I'm not going to put out quality work. So I'm not going to do that to you guys until I get into a better place, or if I switch up my sleep schedule so maybe I can stream the hour before I leave to go to work. That's a possibility. It really depends because right now, since I'm just in training and the training cycle has gotten kind of wonky at my new employment place, uh, I don't know what my schedule is going to be, so I don't know if I'm going to do that whole waking up early bit, or what I would like to do is once I get settled, shift my work schedule up as early as possible to get home like around 1 and then be able to stream for an hour Monday through Friday. I won't be as worn out because I am more of a morning person. Uh, so it's not going to be as such a drain on me throughout the day. But get that and then come home, stream for an hour or so, like I typically do Monday through Friday. Uh, and here on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, I do typically do a 2 hour stream. Everything is subject to change, of course. I found out yesterday that my job at the company is not going to be what myself, the other trainee, or the trainer thought we were going to be doing after doing like 2 days of training in what was supposed to only be like a 4 day training cycle to then get me on the floor, listening to like calls and assessing other projects, and then doing it myself. So that's thrown my schedule just out the fucking door. Um, any idea of trying to get that to grips? So that's where I'm at. So right now I've been uploading a lot of videos to my YouTube channel that I had streamed here on Twitch. Um, so there's a lot of content over there. If you guys missed it, you want to watch it again, which that'd be crazy, but hey, you never know. If you want to leave me comments on ideas, things you think I should do for my streaming that may help out, I'm all ears. I'm willing to listen to any and all uh, gripes, groans, complaints, feedback, whatever you got. All right, enough about me. Now, on to something that I'm passionate about, um, and that has come recently under attack. That's the SCP Wiki series. For anyone who's familiar, the SCP Wiki is a community writing project. It started up back in 2008, 2012. Hold on, let's see here. I think it was. Where did they put it? That's history of the universe, the whole universe, the whole thing. It's like 2008, 2012, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. So recently, it's come under attack. They have unfortunately been the victim of a trademark. Uh, you call it trolling if you want to. It's a pretty common term. Basically, in Russia, um, an individual. I'm trying to find it. Site rules. Site rules. Um, I thought they would have it on here. 2 seconds. Yeah, just as well get over here. But basically, they're under attack, right? They currently have been victim of a. Sorry, I'm trying to find some documentation that I should have honestly had earlier. But yeah, they are under attack
I have been playing.
from a. Oops, excuse me. Where is that? Is it on the subreddit? That may be it. Yeah, it's on the subreddit. Okay. Bam. So, um, basically, so this is on their subreddit page, SCP Wiki license violation. So about 6 months ago, Andrei Duskin, a Russian man, illegally registered a illegitimate trademark, not copyright, trademark for SCP within Eurasian Customs Union. So basically, I've watched videos on this from like Markiplier. I've watched legal videos that was recommended by Legal Eagle. There are a couple of YouTubers that I watch on online, and they've gone over this a bit. And long story short, what Andre has been able to do by doing this is he's going to be able to monetize things, and in the uh, wherever the uh, Eurasian, sorry, Eurasian Customs Union has dominion over those specific regions, he will have uh, ownership of the SCP communities information that's stored there. So any servers or anything that's being hosted in that region, he, if this trademark stands, owns. It's his. He could do with it what he wills. Uh, so normally when it comes to SCP, the community writing project, anyone can add. Um, I mean, I mean, it gets pretty extreme sometimes, but pretty sure there's someone who's reading these. There are thousands, literally, um, and we'll get rid of ones that are way too out there. But more often than not, they let you post whatever you want, as long as it kind of follows the format that they've supplied for the site rules and posting guidelines. So this is something I do feel very strongly about. 2 seconds, gotta toss a couple pillows right here and get those out of the way. And yeah, so Andre is going to be able, if this trademark is to stand, to monetize them. And also, he's going to be able to have control of the servers and websites that are hosted in those regions, which means he can do things like delete posts he doesn't like, posts himself that maybe are against the grain of what the writing project represents. And that's not cool because the rules were set up, they've been followed for a long period of time. Uh, and it's just been kind of an open project. Everyone's just being cool and groovy and, nice to each other as far as stuff goes. And they abide by the rules and they post amazing content, amazing stories where you'll have interlocking like articles and stories from different authors, but maybe about some of the same iconic figures with no back and forth, but it makes great stories. And the thing is, it's a what actually governs the writing project is a copy and allow kind of thing. I can't remember the exact verbiage, but basically, you can take what you want from anyone's article and write another one, but basically what you have to do is you have to give anyone else the permission to do the same to yours. They can take your information, write their own article, in a similar format or with similar content, like same characters or something like that, and it's got to be allowed. That's the thing. You just got to let them do it. It also allows other types of media and developers to use that content. There are several SCP computer games out there. They're all in like beta or early access. Um, when I actually start getting into it, you'll be able to see the potential for great entertainment and growth and storytelling with the SCP community. Um, but this has happened about 2 months ago. I was made aware of it about like last week, I think, and it's been bugging me a lot. Um, so I decided, today, especially still since I'm still a little jet lagged from uh, the jacking up my sleep schedule, um, that I was going to go ahead and do this at least for a starter today until I get my bearings, and we'll see where it goes. So yeah, if you want to find the subreddit, where are we? Reddit.com RSCP comments, it's up there. Uh, you'll be able to. You could probably Google search this. Um, they do have a GoFundMe for legal funds because the people who set this up haven't been profiting from it really. Um, they have normal workaday jobs. The ones who initially set it up, they didn't file a trademark, and they were going to need one. Good intentions and all that, but didn't plan for the worst. Um, so they are trying to get funds for that. Let me see where they are on it. Let's a couple hundred, 151,000 out of a goal of 50,000. And this is literally what they're doing is just trying to file paperwork to file motions to stop the trademark over there. And then once they get that done, whatever's left over goes into a fund to protect the SCP uh, community in the future. So they're not taking the money and then keeping it. They're going to make use of it in one way, form, or fashion, or hold it to protect it in the future. So if you like SCP, whether now or in the future, if I expose you to this, and then literally whenever I was working from home, I have a dual monitor set up and in my office, and in between calls or during very slow times where I was doing things like rebuilding a database or reinstalling a program for a client. Um, I had downtime, but I wasn't going to let them go because they were scared about their program. So I had some time. I would bring the SCP wiki up and I would read through these articles for entertainment value, and they are super entertaining. Um, so if you feel generous, you want to do that, by all means, go ahead and do so. This is not a charity live stream. We're just talking about stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I should have done one. Who cares? We're here. We're talking about it. That's the important thing. So first off, SCP, Secure, Contain, Protect, is the SCP Foundation. Um, the basis uh, of this is the foundation. That's how I'm going to refer to it, hopefully, going forward. Um, they find what they call anomalies. That's objects, persons, places, and things um, that should not be. They should not exist. Um, Monsters, the Bermuda Triangle, uh, powerful telepaths, the Invisible Man, things like that. And, God or gods. These representations, and they secure them in one way, form, or fashion. They build a fence if it's a location. Put out stories to the local populace and local authorities to keep people away from it. They contain it by doing that or moving them to a facility for monitoring and protect. They protect them and humanity as a whole in the world is there. So they're supposed to do. That's the basis. If you go through and you read a lot of these, you're going to see that the people who are involved do have their own motivations. Um, and some of them are counterintuitive to the foundation. But we may get into that. We'll see if we come up with any articles. I pulled up a few so far. We're going to go over. So they have, whenever you go to the SCP Foundation page, you're going to see at the top left, or on the left-hand side here, is a navigation bar. And you have SCP by series, and you have SCP Tales by series. Start with one. Um, SCP by series are going to be they're written in a format for scientists and researchers. So they're bullet pointed, they're very rigidly formatted uh, for information on a specific SCP. And so that way it can be read and then utilized for research or filing. Tales is more of just that, tales. It's stories about people who are involved or work around or with the foundation or with other SCPs that maybe aren't a part of the foundation. I'm going to mainly just stick with the SCPs. Um, so let's go to the first one I pulled up. So when you're reading this, you're going to see a lot of things like order, overseer, council, file is subject to level 4 classification, level 4 clearance is required. And then you're going to see, please input security credentials, AC security clearance adequate, accessing file. And it'll talk about like setting memetic kill agents, which memetic, so that's mental kill agents. And basically, the idea is if you were a lower level clearance owning person trying to access higher than you are allowed, instead of getting the article, you would get an image that you would see, and that image would kill you in the brain, dead in the brain. Um, it's a safeguard that they use so that way people can't just go willy nilly into things without the proper one. So right now we're going to read about item number SCP-008, Euclid class. So it is dangerous. Um, it's not safe. Safe is a different classification. That's something that is safe either by its nature or under certain conditions that they've kept it in. Euclid is dangerous. It will kill you or do other terrible things. Um, there are others that are like world ending. We may get into a couple of those. We'll see. So, so this is kind of the format. You have the item, the object class, containment procedures, descriptions, and then you may get some notes. I also thought this would be a very apt one to start with, seeing as there's that sickness coming over from Japan recently. So, SCP-008. Samples have been deemed Class 5 extreme biological hazards, and all related protocols apply. Incineration and irradiation measures will be deployed in the event of political or military action which may result in the facility being dismantled, a power failure, or zero communications from operatives or outside channels during any given 8-hour period. The quarantine period for operatives leaving the facility is 4 months. If a breach has occurred, incineration or irradiation measures shall be deployed. It should be the policy of all G2 sites not to prepare an evacuation procedure. Okay, so at this point, what they've discussed is the basics of what it is and how they contain it. So it's a biological hazard, and related protocols apply. So protective equipment has to be applied, handling procedures have to be applied specific to these samples. And what they do in case there is a breach or they've lost contact, power failure, and things like that, which means they're going to destroy the facility. They're going to burn it down and irradiate it to the point where this should be destroyed. And this could be one of hundreds of SCPs at its facility. So, they would rather, for this one specifically, they would rather destroy the entire facility and let other SCPs possibly get out to have to be recaptured than let this thing get out. Obviously, I mean it's a plague of types. All right, description. Oh man, this is not a good time to be congested. SCP-008 is a complex prion, samples of which are stored in each of the known G2 sites. Research into SCP-008 is highly classified and primarily aimed at preventing research which may lead to the synthesis of SCP-008 in the distant future. Traits of SCP-008 prion include 100% infectionness, 100% lethality, transmission exposed mucus through transmission through exposed mucous membranes and all bodily fluids, no, not airborne or waterborne. Symptoms of infection with SCP-008 manifest no more than 3 hours after exposure and include flu-like symptoms with high fever, plus severe dementia in later stages. Coma onset approximately 20 hours after symptoms appear and 12 hours after noticeable dementia. Coma onset will be considered onset of death. A period of sporadic cellular necrosis occurs, which comes to resemble gangrene. Surviving tissue assumes its original function and is highly resilient. Red blood cells greatly increase oxygen storage capacity, resulting in slower blood flow and increased muscle endurance and strength. Nervous and muscular systems are unaffected by total organ failure for several hours. Metabolism may decrease to extremely low levels, allowing subject to survive for over 10 years without nutrition. High blood viscosity results in negligible blood flow from gunshots, puncture, and slashing injuries. Conditioned behavior, motor controls, and instinctive behavior mechanisms are damaged, and cognitive abilities are severely retarded and erratic. Animals experience excessive brain necrosis and are inactive. Subject can adapt to its damaged nervous systems, but is limited to basic physical activities, including standing up, balancing on two legs, walking, biting, grabbing, crawling. Subject will energetically move towards sights, sounds, and smells it associates with living humans. Subjects will attempt to ingest living humans if physical contact is made. Neutralizing fully infected subjects requires sufficient cranial trauma. There is strong evidence to suggest SCP-008 itself did not form naturally on Earth, since variants of similar complexity would have displaced much of the ecosystem. In 1959, a short collaborative effort with the USSR to locate G2 sites and eliminate SCP-008 was negotiated following their discovery. The status of SCP-008 in Russian custody since collaboration ended is unknown. Addendum 008-1. SCP-500 has been found to be able to completely cure SCP-008 even in the advanced stages of the disease. End of article. So, we're on SCP-008. Before SCP-500, that article was ever written, this existed. SCP-500 was written, and either the author of this one or someone who has the ability to wrote an addendum in this one linking the two in a way. So let's go ahead and follow that link. And you can follow links in different SCPs, and it goes down it goes down weird little rabbit holes. All right. SCP-500. Object class is safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-500 must be stored in a cool, dry place away from bright light. SCP-500 is only allowed to be accessed by personnel with Level 4 security clearance to prevent misapplication. Description: SCP-500 is a small plastic can, which at the time of writing contains 47 red pills. One pill, when taken orally, effectively cures the subject of all diseases within 2 hours. Exact time depending upon the severity and amount of the subject's conditions. Despite extensive trials, all attempts at synthesizing more of what is thought to be the active ingredients of the pills have been unsuccessful. Note from Dr. Klein: SCP personnel below Level 3 are now banned from handling SCP-500. It is not to be used to cure a hangover. Get AIDS, then ask permission. So basically, one of the doctors who are in charge of this SCP wrote a note. Basically, personnel who were having terrible hangovers had been taking the pills to relieve themselves of that. Requests. You'll see requests in some of these. Requests for use of SCPs or testing. Request 500-1774- Doctor, redacted in name, has requested one SCP-500 pill for testing with SCP-038. Request has been approved. We'll go ahead and we'll open that up in a new tab. We'll get to there. Request 500-1862-Bravo. Dr. Gears has requested one SCP-500 pill for testing in SCP-914. Request has been approved. Request 500-2354-Foxtrot. Dr. Redacted has requested one SCP-500 pill for testing with SCP-253. Denied. Request 500-5667-Echo. Dr. Gibbons has requested two pills of SCP-500 for his personal medkit. Request denied. Addendum. Addendum 500-1. Two pills have been authorized for use with SCP-008. As a result of conducting a series of tests on Class D subject infected with SCP-008, it appears that even the most advanced stages of diseases, one whole pill will accomplish full recovery. The number of pills is 57 at the time of writing. Class D subjects. Class D means class disposable. These are persons that the Foundation has gotten a hold of in one of numerous methods, and they use them to perform tests on. Make them handle SCPs, make them talk to them to try to get information out of them if they can, as laboratory rats basically, because they're not concerned about going through clinical trials like starting with small rodents and seeing how it affects them all the way up to eventually humans. They don't follow like FCC regs or anything like that, so they go straight to humans and say fuck it. Routinely, usually, Class D subjects are terminated every month and they get a new batch. That's to help prevent cross contamination or them being problems. All right, Addendum 500 2. One pill has been authorized for use with SCP 409. It was tested on a subject, 409 Delta 5, who was exposed to the effects of SCP 409. Complete recovery accomplished. See Addendum 409 1. Number of pills at time of writing is 56. So let's open up 409. Got a lot here. I'm going to close a couple of these. I'm just kind of show you the rabbit hole you can get down. Addendum 500-4. Request for 500 1774 kilo approved. 5 pills have been used in an experimentation with SCP-038. It has been determined that 038 is capable of duplicating SCP-500. However, the success of the duplicated pills is limited. They are only effective in curing the subject 30% of the time, with the chance of healing dropping as time since cloned increased. So 038 is an SCP that can duplicate items, and they can duplicate it, and at the beginning, the duplicated pill has a 30% chance of having the same effects. But as time goes on, kind of like a half-life of a radiative material, it will lose that percentage, will go down. In 60% of the cases where the infection is permanent, symptoms of the infection remain, though further infestation is neutralized. So if they get infection, if they take that pill, it will, even if it doesn't get rid of it, it will stop spreading. Repeated dosing with SCP-038 clone pills is recommended for all personnel suffering from incurable conditions, as supply of SCP-500 remains extremely limited. All 5 used samples were returned. Number of pills is 56 at the time of writing. During experiments with SCP-038, one pill was stolen by personnel D-redacted, so that's a D class, to reportedly cure a hangover. Stricter controls for samples of 500 have been given to other projects as suggested. Personnel D-redacted has been terminated. Number of pills is 55 at the time of writing. Addendum 506. One pill has been used with SCP-231-4. Number of pills is now 54 at the time of writing. One pill has been used. So basically this is them logging the use. Let's see here. One pill used, 208. Number of pills is 52. Request 500 1862-Bravo approved. One pill 500 placed within SCP-914 with the setting of fine, resulting in classified SCP-427. Let's go ahead and open up that one. I remember that one. 5 pills taken for the Olympia project. Although only 2 were used, the remaining 3 will be returned shortly. Addendum 511. 2 pills used in experiment 217 redacted. Number of pills is 47. Requests to have SCP-500 investigate for mental compulsion leading to obsessive fixation denied for triviality. So, Addendum 10 mentions the Olympia project. I'm aware of 3 ongoing projects within the Foundation. Olympia project is one of them, where a massive undertaking with different SCPs and scientists have been working on a project. Don't even know what it is yet. And I think that obscurity is probably a good thing. But yeah. Let's go to 427. So we're going to close 500. We're going to go to 427. Now, SCP-427, let's see here. So, object class safe, C containment procedures. So it's safe. The object itself is safe if handled correctly. It's not something that you have to avoid. SCP-427 displays no means of self-locomotion or malicious intent at this time and requires only minimal containment. Due to its adverse effects, only medical staff class 3 or above may handle or utilize it. All personnel using 427 must record their total time using it in order to avoid unwanted mutations. Asterisks. Instances of SCP-427-1 colloquially referred to as flesh beasts created by 427 must be killed immediately as it is impossible to communicate with or experiment on them safely. For this reason, instances of 427-1 are classified as Keter, sorry. Keter is another classification, so safe, lucid. Keter. Keter is, I'm going to keep mispronouncing it. I'm going to go back and forth. Is a classification where this is a aggressive and deadly SCP, or in this case, since it's a -1, it's an offshoot. It's not an SCP in and of itself. It's a result of this one. Description: 427 is a small spherical, ornately carved locket made of polished silver material. The ornate carvings do not seem to serve any other function. It is unknown whether 427's outer casing was crafted by sentience or not. Its circumference is at its widest point roughly 3 centimeters. 427 was created after placing a pill of SCP-500 into the input booth of SCP-914 and using the fine setting. Go ahead and move that. Go over that in a minute. It displays no unusual activity when closed. When opened, a small glowing orb is visible at the center. The orb emits no radiation or energy aside from the visible spectrum. When 427 is opened and exposed to biological tissue, it rapidly regenerates cellular damage and somehow is able to purge invading compounds or infections. As a standard measure, the common cold takes 3 to 10 days to be worked through the human immune system and eventually removed. In the presence of an open 427, the time is reduced to 2 to 4 minutes. Its healing abilities are directional, so anything not in the line of sight with the central orb experiences no effect. However, long-term exposure produces a significant health hazard. As the locket heals damage, it optimizes the body's natural systems. Resistance to disease and toxins is increased by 500% compared to accepted LD50 or death rate values after a total of 10 minutes of exposure, and 1,000% after 15. After 15 minutes of exposure, muscular systems begin optimizing, increasing strength and pain tolerance by 2 to 300%. All other systems continue to optimize. Class D personnel exposed to the device for over an hour total begin mutating into shapeless mass of tissue. The conversion time accelerates with continued exposure with SCP-247. The Flesh Beast, so named due to their appearance created by SCP-427, are incredibly aggressive, attacking any and all personnel on site with lethal results. They are highly resistant to most known weaponry, but can be disabled with sufficient shock trauma or heat in excess of 1,100 degrees Celsius. Intelligence cannot be accurately gauged, but mapping of biological enhancements of the brain as a direct relationship to the optimization of their other systems suggests intelligence could exceed levels measured in humans when fully transformed. 427 is currently being used as a partial replacement of the SCP-500 pills, as it can cure almost anything 500 is able to. All optimizations imparted by SCP-427 are cumulative. Oversight has deemed the side effects as an acceptable risk, but users must carefully record their total exposure time as sufficient mutations are grounds for termination. So, SCP-427 is used as a tool by the Foundation for their scientists and security staff to help keep them in good health from time to time. If they get massively injured and 427 is available, they may use it, but they have to very strictly log the use of it because for if you get over an hour's worth of exposure to it, you will begin turning into a flesh beast. So you can imagine them probably using this on uh, probably when it comes to their scientists and researchers just for the healing properties. They get injured while working with an SCP. My camera is shifting. They come down with some sort of major disease. Bam. Use this, get them back up to snuff, get them back to work. D-class personnel, probably the same thing, plus maybe optimize them a bit. Give them like 15 minutes just to like get them up and going. That makes them a little bit more hardy. So whenever it comes to dealing with D-class personnel or guarding SCPs, they're a little bit more up to snuff than your average Joe security. Now, in this article, they talked about its creation, which was a pill of SCP-500, which we went over, and being used with SCP-914. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. SCP-914, object class is safe. Special containment procedures. Only personnel who submit a formal request and receive approval from Site Command may operate 914. 914 is to be kept in Research Cell 109 Bravo with 2 guard personnel on duty at all times. Any researchers entering 109 Bravo are to be accompanied by at least 1 guard for the entirety of testing. A full list of tests to be carried out must be given to all guard personnel on duty. Any deviation from this list will result in termination of testing, forcible removal of personnel from 109 Bravo, and formal discipline on at site command's discretion. So run the right test, run the test you said you were going to say. Failure to do so, you're going to get a reprimand. Researchers can get terminated. Researchers can get turned into D-class personnel. I've seen it happen. Warning. At this time, no testing of biological matter is allowed. Refer to document 109 Bravo, colon 117. Applying the rough setting to exposed materials is not advised. Description. 914 is a large clockwork device weighing several tons and covering an area of 18 square meters consisting of screw drives, belts, pulleys, gears, springs, and other clockwork. It is incredibly complex, consisting of over 8 million moving parts comprised mostly of tin and copper, with some wooden and cloth items observed. Observation and probing have shown no electronic assemblies or any form of power other than the main spring under the selection panel. Two large booths, 3 meters by 2.1 meters by 2.1 meters, so 10 by 7 by 7, are connected via copper tubes to the main body of 914, labeled intake and output. Between them is a copper panel with a large knob with a small arrow attached. The words rough, coarse, 1-to-1, fine, very fine are positioned at points around the knob. Below the knob is a large key that winds the mainspring. When an object is placed in the intake booth, a door slides shut. A small bell sounds. If the knob is turned to any position and the key is wound up, 914 will refine the object in the booth. No energy is lost in the process, and the object appears to be in stasis until the output booth door is opened. Intense observation and testings have not shown how 914 accomplishes this, and no test object has ever been observed inside 914 during the refining process. The process takes between 5 to 10 minutes depending upon the size of the object being refined. Now what we have here is a series of tests that were performed. So on 514, Dr. Redacted test log. Input, a kilogram of steel set to rough. A pile of steel chunks various size appearing to be cut by laser. Input, 1 kilogram of steel, setting 1-to-1. 1 kilogram of steel screws. Input, kilogram steel set to fine. 1 kilogram steel carpet tacks. 1 kilogram steel very fine. Several gases that dissipate into the air quickly. 1 gram of an unknown metal, resistant to heat up to 50,000 degrees, impossible to bend or break with any force, near perfect conductor for electricity. So it reduced that to a thousandths of itself, but made it some unknown, perfect metal. Wristwatch belonging to Dr. Redacted set to course. Output, 1 completely disassembled watch. Cell phone belonging to Redacted set to 101. A cell phone, although different make and model. 1 standard Colt Python revolver, very fine. Data expunge. Aforementioned blank completely disintegrated all matter in its line of fire. Object contained with high density gamma waves. So it made some sort of weapon that was terrible. Input, 1 white mouse, 1-to-1. Output, 1 brown mouse. 1 chimp, set to fine. Data expunge. 1 chimp sent to rough. Output, badly mutated corpse showing signs of crushing and cutting with high heat. Document 109 Bravo 117. Dr. Redacted and Dr. Redacted test log. Subject Delta 186. Male Caucasian, 42 years old, 108 kilograms, at 185 centimeters tall, set to 1-to-1. It outputted 1 male Hispanic, 42 years old, 100 kilograms, 188 centimeters tall. Subject was very confused and agitated. Subject attacked security personnel. Subject was terminated. Subject D187, male Caucasian, 28 years old, 63 kilograms, 173 centimeters tall, set to very fine. Data expunged. Subject escaped from test chamber, killing 8 guards as well as Dr. Redacted. Dr. Redacted. Lockdown initiated. Subject caused containment failure of 3 SCP areas in continued escaped attempt. Special response team engaged subject, resulting in severe wounding of subject, partial memory loss in special response team members, and corrosive damage to plumbing. Subject expired several hours later, dissolving into blue ash and blinding nearby research team. Biological testing with 914 discontinued. Because of the nature of this SCP, a wide range of test data would be helpful. Dr. Gears has ordered that any researcher can have access for non-biological testing if they themselves are or they are supervised by a level 3 researcher. All testing is to be recorded in the experiment log 914. Biological testing will continue only with prior clearance by O5 command. As long as you want to try something mundane that isn't alive, feel free to accumulate data. You'll get a lot of links in these to experiment logs or other articles. And usually it's another author who's kind of added this note because they have written an experiment log involving this SCP. So that allows them to, without altering the original work, add something to link it to their own um, as part of this writing. So let's move on to 038. So this was another SCP that was involved in the 500 test series. SCP-038, object class is safe. Special containment procedure. 038 is to be watered twice per day via overhead mister. Should the mister break for any reason, attendants should water 038 by hand until it's been fixed. Lighting is provided by a computer-controlled lighting array. Attendants watering 038 by hand and maintenance personnel fixing the mister or lighting should wear hazmat suits to prevent accidental cloning. 038 was found in an abandoned farm in Redacted, New York, and 19 Redacted. It was at first thought to be a common apple tree. However, upon closer inspection, it became apparent that 038 was growing things other than apples, and in fact, other than fruit. 038 has the ability to clone any object that touches its bark. Objects begin growing almost instantaneously and reach maturity within a matter of minutes. A weight limit of 90.9 kilograms, 200 pounds, per object has been previously recorded. Objects that 038 has thus far cloned include apples, oranges, watermelons, eggplants, candy bars, snack foods, see Addendum 1, televisions, toasters, laptops, keys, see Addendum 2, chairs, wine, DVD, CDs, see Addendum 3, cats, dogs, and people. Human and animal cloning through 038 is not recommended as they appear to age quickly. The majority of these clones live on an average of 2 weeks. After thorough examination of the deceased clones, it has been determined that they had begun to ferment before death. Object is currently held on Site-23, and there are currently no plans to remove it. Addendum 1. Dr. Klein has requested that personnel discontinue cloning items from the vending machines. See document 338-1. Dr. Klein has requested personnel discontinue cloning personal items. Dr. Klein has requested that personnel discontinue cloning of movies and music. Dr. Klein has requested that personnel discontinue cloning of cans of Miller, Budweiser, and Foster's. Dr. Klein has further expressed customary disapproval of the quality of such cloned items. Document 338-1. I would like to remind all personnel that SCP-038 is not, I repeat, not a toy. It should not be used for cloning car keys, movies, music, or other items from the vending machines. If this behavior continues, I will be forced to limit access to 038. Document 338-2. It has been noticed that SCP-038 is able to clone SCP-500. However, Such pills only work 30% of the time, with chance of success healing dropping as time since cloned increases. In 60% of the cases where infection is permanent, symptoms of the infection remain, though further infection is neutralized. So that's a call back to SCP 500's article, or call forward. SCP-038 Partial Testing Log. Select experiments only. For full test records and reports, contact affiliated researchers or for authorization. Date 11/08 redacted. Intent: confirmation of mass limit. Investigation into consequences of exceeding limit. Summary of test results. A 400-pound steel ingot made contact with the outer bark of 038. Chamber vacated as a precaution. Cloned ingot grew at typical speed, but growth halted abruptly short of completion. Examination of the end of the aborted facsimile revealed a rough texture superficially resembling a miniature scale tree bark. Item detached from 038 as typical and was subsequently found to weigh 90.91 kilograms or almost precisely 200 pounds. Testing log 11/08 investigation into duplication of non-biological animate matter. Summary of test results. SCP-173 deemed a suitable test subject because of its lack of verifiable life processes. Introduced into containment chamber by Class D personnel, contact made with the outer bark of 038, and SCP-173 returned immediately to containment. 173 facsimile began development at typical speed, beginning at the point of contact. As consistent with previous results, growth halted at the 200-pound threshold. In the case of terminating development after replication of the head, right arm, and partial upper torso, Class D test subject was ordered to break eye contact with the clone. When test subject eventually blinked, no movement was observed in clone material. Extinguished and re-establishment of containment chamber light supply revealed no apparent reaction from cloned material. Experiment concluded. During storage of cloned portion of 173, it was observed that the partial facsimile was in fact making violent gestures at a dramatically slower rate. Movement was shown to continue regardless of state of observation. Let's open up 173 in a new tab. This one, I believe, is a fairly popular one. Yes. Look at that butt. You got a weird butt. Okay. SCP-173. This is probably one of the most well-known SCPs. Um, Object Class Lucid. Special Containment Procedure. Item SCP-173 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. When personnel must enter 173's container, no fewer than 3 may enter at any time, and the door is to be relocked behind them. At all times, 2 persons must maintain direct eye contact with 173 until all personnel have vacated and relocked the container. Description. Moved to Site 19, 1993. Origin is as of yet unknown. It is constructed from concrete and rebar with traces of Krylon brand spray paint. 173 is animate and extremely hostile. The object cannot move while in the direct line of sight. Line of sight must not be broken at any time with 173. Personnel assigned to enter the container are instructed to alert one another before blinking. Object is reported to attack by snapping the neck at the base of the skull or by strangulation. In the event of an attack, personnel are to observe Class 4 hazardous object containment procedures. Personnel report sounds of scraping stone originating from within the container when no one is present inside. This is considered normal, and any change of this behavior should be reported to the acting HMCL supervisor on duty. The reddish-brown substance on the floor is a combination of feces and blood. Origin of these materials is unknown. The enclosure must be cleaned on a bi-weekly basis. Let's see here. So this is one of the original SCPs um, that were created, and because of the, this is a callback, so we're back in reality. Um, because this is a community writing project, there is no profiting, but the author of this did use artwork from Izumi Kato. Um, and the photograph was taken by, I'm going to mispronounce that one, Yamamoto Moto. And all rights are reserved for the artist. So the author of this specific SCP did note that for them. And that's kind of the nature of, the writing project. It's free, it's not for profit, and it's supposed to be, right and allow others to use. SCP-0 or 409, object class is Keter. Special containment process. No physical contact may be made with 409 for any reason. Anything making physical contact with 409 must be contained in quarantine immediately, along with any materials used to transport the subject. 409 must be kept in a granite case at all times. Any transportation of 409 must be done in a sealed granite container. Residue from 409's effect are to be sealed in granite containers, along with any tools used for transport residue into containers. Description: 409 resembles a large quartz crystal approximately 1.5 meters, 5 feet tall, and 0.6 meters, 2 feet wide. Any object coming in contact with 409 begin to crystallize after 3 hours. This effect will occur in any material other than granite. The crystallization will spread approximately 1.5 centimeters, 1 inch per minute, and will convert the entire object or organism inside and out. Subjects report this effect to be extremely painful and similar to frostbite. After complete crystallization, the object will begin to make snapping and creaking noises for approximately 20 minutes before bursting into thousands of fragments with great force. Anything touched by or touching a fragment will immediately begin to crystallize. Nothing at this time is able to reverse the effects in organic matter, including amputation of the affected areas. Inorganic matter will only crystallize for a few centimeters around the point of contact. 409 was recovered in, expunged, under a pile of crystal shards several feet deep. Losses of personnel during this recovery were high. Addendum 1. With the suggestion of Dr. Subject 409 Delta 5 was exposed to the effects of 409 and was left to become severely crystallized. After that, the effect was treated with SCP-500, and a complete recovery was achieved in 9 days. Subject reported that he continued to feel pain in the body parts that were crystallized, even after the estimated recovery time. Pain faded 13 days after the subject was treated. It is unknown if the pain effect was psychological or real during the intervening 4 days. Addendum 2. Extensive testing has yielded no information as to why the crystallization occurs. 409 and the shards created by it are indistinguishable from any other quartz crystal. The effect appears to be similar to a seed crystal, where the pre-existing crystal formation is added to a solution, causing the crystal to grow. SCP-409, however, appears to do this with all solid matter and does not need to remain in contact. How this is done, why 409 is unique amongst all other quartz crystals, and why granite is the only material is immune is still unknown. One second. All right. So for almost an hour, we started off at one of the more basic SCPs, but the way the Foundation uh, pages are written, they can link to others. So we have read so far all of them that were directly linked to the SCP 500 article. So you can see that there's a lot of building in and out. So let's jump to a random one. This one's pretty this one's pretty fun. SCP-024, Euclid class object, special containment procedures. Due to its nature, SCP-024 cannot be moved to a secure location. No security measures must be placed on this site. So security measures must be placed on site. To conceal its location, 5 identical looking replicas have been erected around 024. A tight security perimeter must be maintained around 204's compound at all times, with separate security teams guarding 024 and its replicas. None of the security teams, except for team leaders, will be informed of the location of 024. And continues on, SCP-024 must be secured with magnetically sealed blast doors and reinforced armored walls to prevent unauthorized entry. Under no circumstances can any security or research personnel enter 024. Only D-class personnel are allowed entry and strictly for research purposes only. All researchers are to observe and experiment with 024 from the remote observation lab. Any personnel attempting to leave the remote observation lab or enter 024 without prior approval from Level 4 researcher must be immediately apprehended with termination authorized. Should containment be breached or 024's true nature compromised, the entire compound must be destroyed via specialized demolition charges planted throughout the compound. So this is an example of an SCP that is not so much something that they can take into a facility and put in a locked room. This is a place, and there are other places also that have to be guarded like this. Description: SCP-024 is an abandoned soundstage that was once owned by Redacted. However, SCP-024 itself had been abandoned since 19 Redacted, and it's unknown whether its special properties manifested before or after its abandonment. 024 is located at the heart of Redacted, and was initially discovered when a group of teenage youths broke into the abandoned compound. The testimony of the lone winner, when she turned herself into the police, was enough to have Foundation assets mobilized to contain 024. Upon entering 024, visitors are immediately greeted by an anonymous announcer who communicates via intercom and is able to hear and comprehend voices of people within 024. The announcer will inform the contestants that they are about to take part in a game show in which the winners will win fabulous prizes, but will also warn the game will be extremely hazardous and that the losers will never leave 024. It is at this point the announcer presents the choice of whether to stay or leave 024. Contestants who accept will continue to participate in the game, while those who decline are immediately expelled from 024. Contestants that win the game or decline to participate may never enter 024 again, as entry is denied by an impenetrable, invisible barrier. It is then the contestants are led into the actual game. The style, composition, and appearance of the game always changes in every individual playthrough, but the game is always centered around a long, elaborate obstacle course that the contestants must navigate through. The rules also vary. Some playthroughs may only allow a single winner, while others encourage the creation of teams to win the game. More often than not, the obstacles seen in these games range from incredibly benign to extremely hazardous and life-threatening. As the contestants attempt to negotiate the course, the announcer will continuously update their status and actively participate in the game, often giving advice, conversing with the contestants, and adding new rules. As the game progresses, the obstacles become significantly more dangerous and difficult to overcome, and it is not surprising to have the entire pool of contestants succumb to the rigors of the obstacle course. If such an event happens, the announcer will express sadness in the lack of a winner, and 024 will shut down, resetting only when a new batch of contestants enter. Any attempts to break the rules, such as assaulting other contestants and deliberately bypassing obstacles, are met by extreme violence. The announcer will call out the offending contestant, who will be quickly and forcibly ejected from the course by studio guardians. These studio guardians will immediately materialize within 024 when called upon by the announcer and disappear when not needed. The contestants will never be seen again. When a winner is declared, he/she will receive a random grand prize. Any contestants that have survived the course but failed to win are immediately declared losers by the announcers. The lights will switch off, and the winner will immediately appear outside of 024 with his/her prize, while the losers completely disappear. However, the most mysterious aspect of 024 is that after every game, a VHS tape or DVD will appear in the mailbox outside of 024's main entrance. This recording is a complete record of the entire game that was previously played, even though winners have claimed that they have never seen any cameras or recording devices inside 024. Also, more strangely, a live studio audience can be seen in the background cheering the contestants. Again, winners have claimed not to have seen a live studio audience while inside 024. Addendum 1. So far, the list of prizes awarded to winners has included, but not limited to, cash prizes, electronics, various consumer goods, cars, collectibles, full paid vacations to various countries, data expunged. Close examination of these prizes have confirmed that they are completely genuine and possess no unusual abilities or characteristics whatsoever. There appears to be no consistent pattern for what the prizes will be. Addendum 2. In an attempt to track where the losers are taken, GPS locator beacons were planted on subjects Delta 124 through 135 when group Delta 245 was sent into 024. When the losers were taken away, all signals from the beacons were lost. Whether this is because the beacons were destroyed or because the losers were taken to an area that cannot be located via GPS is currently unknown. Addendum 3. The announcer living within 024 appears to be sentient and aware of events that take place outside of the compound. During the test group Delta 523, which consisted only of Dr. Redacted, the announcer instead engaged in a conversation with Dr. Redacted. Analysis of the conversations have shown that the majority of the subjects are centered around pop culture and information distributed through television, implying that 024 somehow is able to access and interpret television signals. Cutting all power and signal lines, as well as removing any potential wireless receiving equipment on 024, does not affect 024 in any way. When it became clear that no other contestants would participate, the announcer kindly asked Dr. Redacted to leave 024 and suggested he return with more contestants. Addendum 4. The studio guardians that the announcer uses to enforce the rules vary in appearance every game, just like the course. If they appear, the guardians will always be dressed in a manner that matches with the theme of the obstacle course. The only common attributes all guardians share are the possessions of humanoid appearance, the ability to suddenly appear and disappear, superhuman strength, and the face concealing masks or headgear. However, winners have claimed that the Guardians have no apparent shape or form inside 024, instead appearing as huge, shadowy figures that engulf the offender. So that's a pretty good one. If anyone has any recommendations, if you're familiar with any of these, by all means, pipe up. Let's take a look at. Hmm. 110%. Oh, wait a minute. I remember. I think they're in the first 100. Cain and Abel. So first off, let's go ahead and do 248. 248, object class is safe, special containment procedures. 248 is to be kept in a fireproof safe in Dr. Mize's office unless being used directly for testing purposes. The safe has a keypad style opening mechanism. Any personnel of at least level 2 security clearance have full permission to access 248, and the numeric code is redacted. Description: 248 is a 25-page booklet of stickers, each reading 110%, with a small impressed imprint of the words "The Factory" in the bottom right corner. The booklet itself is 7.5 centimeters in height, 15 centimeters in length. Each page contains 2 of the stickers, making the total of what would be 50, but circumstances before discovery have left it to 49. 248 was discovered in a small house in Redacted, Georgia. The object came to the Foundation's attention after one of the stickers was placed on an old, half-disassembled tractor in the family's barn by the youngest son, Ronnie Redacted. The tractor was suddenly able to operate as if it was fully functional, despite lack of much of the engine and frame. Agents removed 248 and the tractor from the family and in exchange for a bogus coupon for free pesticides for the farm. The family was administered Class A amnesiacs. Dr. Mize received SCP-248 upon arrival to Site Redacted and took deep interest in its apparent abilities. The tractor is now labeled SCP-248-1. See Addendum 248-01 for testing of SCP-248-1. Testing of SCP-248 has been approved by Dr. Mize. See Addendum 248-02 and below for preliminary tests. Remaining stickers of 248, 46. Addendum 01. SCP-248-1 is a 1979 John Deere tractor and is in extremely rusted state. Most of the engine is missing, apparently from restoration that was never completed. The frame is also partially missing near the rear of the tractor, where the driver would be positioned. A sticker from SCP-248 is located near the back, behind the left wheel. Upon turning the key to the ignition, SCP-2481 starts up and operates as if it was in pristine condition. It is capable of achieving speeds up to 42 miles per hour or kilometers per hour, slightly faster than a typical tractor of that specific model. Though the tractor operates with no engine, gasoline is still required to maintain power. Um, there's a line here that was crossed out. Further testing is required to understand whether or not the tractor would operate without a gas tank. Removal of the gas tank resulted in 248 becoming non-functional in all aspects. The whole of 248-1 is being held in hangar redacted of site redacted for future tests regarding the need of fuel, but the lack of engine to create forward motion. Addendum 2. Testing of 248 on a redacted brand computer. A sticker from 248 was placed on the motherboard of the computer, which was then started up like usual. The speed of the computer was greatly enhanced. It was noted by Dr. Redacted, the owner of the computer. Diagnosis from the PC revealed that the disk space to have increased from its maximum of 250 gigabytes to 275, as expected. The RAM had also reached the expected 110% efficiency. However, the interior was also experiencing similar results. The heatsink was pulling off 10% more heat than usual, and the connectivity of the wiring was allowing electricity to flow 10% more smoothly than the best modern superconductors. Why the wiring is achieving such high rate of non-resistant flow compared to the heatsink is slightly above optimal cooling is not understood at this time. Removal of the battery rendered the computer useless, just as 248-01. Further study of 248 and power supplies has been noted for future tests. Dr. Redacted's computer is now labeled 248-2 and is to be kept on Dr. Mize's top desk drawer. The drawer is opened via numeric keyboard, the password of which is redacted. Dr. Mize has requested that future tests regarding electronics attempt to focus at least partially on the implications of high conductivity. Some form of electricity producing turbine or power plant could potentially increase energy production 1,000-fold. Addendum 3. Testing of 248 on organic matter. A sticker from 248 was placed on the forearm of Class D personnel who volunteered to work with this unknown SCP, rather being transferred to Site 19 for Keter duty. Keter being the Keter, uh, are those violent ones that often kill Class D subjects. Initial reaction to the sticker yielded no results. Subject received none of the additional enhancements as seen in previous tests. After 60 minutes of exposure, the subject was still unchanged. Retrieval of the sticker was ordered to test the item's adhesive properties. The agent had difficulty removing the sticker. While the subject was claiming they experienced extreme pain during the attempted retrieval, after a small talk with Dr. Mize, Agent Redacted removed the sticker with much of the subject's skin stuck to it. Microscopic examination revealed that the resin had bonded to the skin subject's flesh in the same way Navy grade tape bonds to the sides of submarine to withstand tremendous pressure. Chemical testing of the resin itself shows that it's consistent with the average mass-produced resin in everyday Scotch tape. Something sounds a little off. Okay, no, we're good. The chunk of skin labeled 248-3 by Dr. Mize is now held in a vacuum-sealed plastic container. It is stored in the same fireproof container as 248. Addendum 4. Testing of 248 on 248-1. Attempted removal of the sticker. Agent Redacted asked to try to remove the sticker with his fingers. After a few moments of failed attempts of scratching it off, Agent Redacted was given tools, tweezers, a pair of pliers, pocket knife, chisel, hunting knife, to no effect of the sticker itself. This test, along with 248-03, confirmed the adhesive has properties beyond our understanding. After failing to remove the sticker, a second sticker was added near the first, as if to see if they had stackable abilities. The first speed trial observed 248 reaching 84 kilometers per hour, which is indeed 220%. However, after a 15-minute period, the tractor showed advanced signs of oxidation wear. After a total of 36 minutes, with both stickers, 248-1 had almost completely turned to rust and lost all form. At this point, the stickers fell free from the pile of rust and were gathered by Dr. Mize for testing. Results show that the resin had formed a chemical bond as well as with biological matter, and only broke that bond after original composition of the matter it was attached to had changed. It should be noted that there is no longer resin on the stickers, and they do not stick to other surfaces. 2481 neutralize. If the item was mass produced, like it's assumed that other factory SCPs were, we could have potentially struck gold. If a power grid can be made to function without the degenerative effects of 248, free flowing power could be possible at room temperature. I will personally begin researching the factory and its whereabouts as soon as High Command approves. Dr. Mize. Like the Foundation, there are other entities in the SCP universe, one of them being the factory. Its origins are not wholly known, but um, what I know of it offhand is the factory was just that. It started out as a factory, and people moved into it. And it wasn't just like a place you would go to work. You would go there to live and to work. Whole families would move in. There were birthing areas. You would live, work. There was entertainment, all within the factory. And it began to grow on its own accord. And instead of producing, objects, tin cans and other things, they started producing things like this. these stickers or books that had uh, qualities of an SCP. And so, because of that, it is a reoccurring topic of discussion when going through these SCPs. Let's move on to the next one. SCP-073, Object Class Euclid. 073 is to be kept in a two-room cell furnished with all non-organic furniture and items, and a bathroom. Subject is allowed to freely wander the facility and eat in the main canteen. A tracking device has been attached to 073's person and is not to be removed. The subject is disallowed any contact with the surface and is not allowed outside the facility. Subject is allowed no contact with plant-based SCPs under any circumstance. Violence is not to be used against 073 under any circumstance. 073 is currently kept in Site-17. Description: 073 appears to be a heavily tanned male of Arabic or Middle Eastern descent in his early 30s. Approximately 1.85 centimeters or 6 foot 1 tall, 75 kilograms or 165 pounds, with black hair, blue eyes. Arms, legs, spinal cord, and shoulder blades of the subject to appear have been replaced with artificial versions of unknown make and metal. Subject only takes notice of this when it's pointed out, and states that it has no knowledge of how, why, or when these replacements took place, stating it had them as long as it could remember. There's a symbol engraved into the forehead of the subject, which appears to be of Sumerian origin. The symbol has yet to be untranslated. It's a mistake, it should be translated. And the subject appears distressed when the symbol is mentioned at all, refusing to speak of it. Subject does not need to eat or drink on a regular basis, but is strictly carnivorous owing to its effect on plant-based items. Subject 073 refers to itself as Kane. It's generally polite and genial to all who speak to it, though it has been described as being cold and somewhat mechanical in its speech. It's very helpful and enjoys aiding personnel on their daily actions, whatever it may be, and has highly detailed knowledge of ancient to recent events in history and most commonly spoken languages in the world, including ones that have since died out. Subject has professed to having photographic memory, remembering word for word all text in an 800-page dictionary that was flicked through in a minute and a half. It has scored above average in intelligence tests given to it. SCP-073's presence is uh, inimical to any and all life grown in soil, causing death to any such life within 20-meter radius. Any land 073 has walked on and within 20 meters radius of becomes barren as all anaerobic bacteria dies, rendering the soil incapable of supporting life until new bacteria are introduced. Anything that is derived from the soil grown life, such as wood, paper, immediately rots and degenerates upon touch of 073. Further effects derivatives include anything hydroponically grown. Violence directed towards 073 reflects any damage inflicted on 073 directly back to the attacker, although 073 remains visibly unharmed. This applies to any damage directed at 073. Attempts to get tissue and blood samples have proven futile. When the procedure was initiated, personnel carrying out the action felt the sensation of whatever was applied to 073 and wound up with a sample of their own blood or tissue, despite the fact that all actions were directed solely at 073. Indirect damage through a medium also results in the person perpetuating the action receiving the wounds caused. Although 073 receives no actual harm from the damage of the person, it has stated that it still feels the pain of the action and has politely asked researchers to abstain from overly harmful actions to its person. Additional notes. 073 was found in the New York Police Department in 19 redacted, having been taken in after subject had been found amidst bodies of several violent gang members. 073 told police that the members of the gang had attempted to make sport of it, but became angry and attempted to kill 073, resulting in their own demise. 073 was incarcerated and was deemed a John Doe when NYPD could not find any information on it. 073 came to the attention of the Foundation through routine inspection of John Does and was subsequently released to our custody. Addendum 1. In light of 073's indestructible nature, photographic memory, and general will to please, High Command has deemed that all information to be backed up on 073, ensuring it is not lost in the event of catastrophe. While this action has met with mixed responses, 073 has agreed and sworn itself to secrecy on its part. Addendum 2. When information concerning 076 was brought to the attention of 073 for backing up, the subject showed familiarity with the information, although was disinclined to adding to it. Despite the fact that it has stated that it already knew about 076, it then stated it would be better for all parties involved that they not meet. Examination of the unidentified metal in 073 has suggested that it is beryllium bronze, a metal that has been documented as being utilized by various anomalous cultures and entities. Most notably, beryllium bronze is a compound found in various SCPs. In light of this discovery, the Foundation began working with an attempt to trace the origin of beryllium bronze and how it excuse me, and how it initially spread throughout the world. When prompted, 073 was able to provide information that suggests that beryllium bronze originated in the Middle East, though the exact point of origin has yet to be determined. Further research of the origin of beryllium bronze is currently ongoing. Hey, Cash. Kind of taking a light day. Uh, so I started up new work on Thursday, and it's really throwing my sleep schedule off. So I'm a bit out of sorts. Um, Mentioned earlier on my stream that right now, until I get things sorted out with my schedule and whatnot at work, probably not going to be streaming much, Monday through Friday. Um, Today, because I'm still really jet lagged from my sleep schedule getting jacked up, I'm just doing some pretty light stuff. I don't think I could perform right now playing anything that well. So I came on just to kind of let any of my viewers who decided to come by know what was going on with that. And basically also just bring up the fact of the issue with SCP. I don't know if you're familiar with SCP at all. Um, it's a community writing project, and it revolves around this fictitious foundation that secures, contains uh, anomalous persons, places, things, sometimes ideas that would be dangerous. Um, so it's a community writing project. It's free. Anyone can add to it, make their own uh, creations within this world, within a specific format, use other people's uh, additions to it to, you know, build upon it and just really enriching it. It's a writing project basically by a community. Yeah, and also that, me being six messed up too. Um, yeah, it's super neat. The problem is it's under attack. So there's a if you want to look it up, you can look it up on their subreddit. There's a individual in Russia who has gotten a trademark for SCP Foundation and has started attempting to take ownership of the SCP Foundation writing project over in the Euro-Asian area. Uh, yeah, Arts of the SCP, that's pretty weird. Uh, that's pretty weird stuff. I don't go to that one, but the actual articles themselves are really cool. So The main problem is that since this individual over in Russia has started doing this, um, the creators of the SCP Foundation and a lot of their supporters have been trying to fight this trademarking because the rules over there are a little bit more lax in some respects. Um, so this individual's been able to get that trademark, so that he's going to be able to take control of it, which means he's going to be able to take control of the servers and websites in those regions to do with whatever he wants. He could delete things, which you're not supposed to do that. He can edit them. He can add his own that are outside the normal format. He can monetize it by selling off parts of it um, for like, authors and whatnot. Because what protects the SCP Foundation community writing project is a copy and allow, basically. You can take someone else's work, uh, use it as inspiration or as a basis for your own, add it to the SCP Foundation, but then you also implicitly uh, give permission to anyone else to do the same to your work. And that's how this writing project works. Um, but by him taking out a trademark on it is going to impede that, and it's going to give him control. He's, basically this is someone who's just coming in to try to swoop in and grab it. Um, so if you go to their subreddit, if you want to, um, they talk about the entire situation. It's been going on for a couple months, and they basically they got a GoFundMe, which they've already exceeded, to start filing paperwork and motions over there with a representative to stop this. Um, and then anything that goes over that, they put in a fund to protect the community writing project in the future. So that's kind of, as today is a light day. Um, just going through, reading some of the foundation articles, uh, just to kind of, anyone who drops in or out uh, can see it and see that's what it is. That's a great thing. And not to get all preachy, it's something that should be protected because it's this community. I mean, it's a form of art, I think. I think that's applicable, and it should be protected. So yeah, pretty much, yeah, right back. Um, so yeah, because there's games built upon this, and the thing is, that's perfectly legal and fine. There's video games out there. You've probably seen them on YouTube or whatnot as well. Um, it's perfectly legal. It's fine. It's within the same realm. It's but at the same note, someone could take that game, copy it, change it, and make their own. So exactly. So it has inspired a lot of really cool games. Like I watch Markiplier on YouTube a lot. That's one of my personal favorites. And he's played a lot of the games. And they're all in like early start beta alpha stuff, but it's really cool what they're doing and trying to bring to light. But yeah, right now, this is pretty much all I'm doing as I'm going through and reading some of my more favorite SCP articles or some of the more interesting ones. Um, and just reading them out, yeah. I'm out of water. 2 seconds out. I'm going to go get some water. All right. I'm back from outer space. Just came in here. That look upon your face. All right. No one's art should be. Oh no. Chat. No one's art should be sold when it's. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's it's a sad case, state of affairs as far as I'm concerned. I've been reading SCPs for like a long time, so really kind of bit me in the butt. I saw a video. It was last week when I first heard about it. I'm just like, what? Yeah. So let's carry on. So now we're reading about SCP-076. A note from Dr. Redacted to Director Maria Jones, record keeping, and information security administration. Subject revision of SCP-076 SCP file. I have to go on record as saying that I seriously object to the proposed revision of SCP-076 Containment Procedures file. I know that redact I know that redact all important stuff already claims that it's a security risk. But you and I both know it's just top brass trying to sweep their biggest and most embarrassing mistake ever made under the damn rug. Omega 7 happened. It existed. Those people died because you screwed up, and you can't change that. No matter how hard you try to hide it. For God's sake, man, those people guarding him deserve to know exactly what he is and what he did, what we did, how we fucked up, and so they'll know better. SCP-076, Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Containment Area 25 Bravo is to be located 200 meters below sea level, tunneled out of solid bedrock, and in a seismologically stable area. Sole access to the containment facility is to be through a vertical elevator shaft separated every 50 meters with reinforced blast door, constructed of 20-centimeter thick material shielding. Elevator shafts shall be flooded with seawater when not in use. Containment Area 25 Bravo is to be constructed with the following components. An outer security perimeter against outside threats staffed by security personnel trained in close quarters combat and counter-intrusion tactics. An administrative and support area, ASA, consisting of support facilities and living quarters for on-site personnel. A primary containment zone, PCZ, consisting of 7-meter cube encased in 1.5 meter of reinforced material. PCZ is to be designed to be flooded and drained as needed, and should remain filled with seawater unless access to contents is required. A 150-meter killing corridor, which is to be the sole access to the PCZ from the ASA, including water, power, drainage, and ventilation lines. The walls and floor of this corridor are to be reinforced with a similar manner of the PCZ, with the addition of an electric deterrent system capable of delivering a 20,000 volt shock. A security station located at the entrance to the killing corridor is to be staffed with no fewer than 3 armed security personnel, on which at any point in time armament is to include but not limited to at least one redacted CIW system on a pintle mount with a clear line of sight down the corridor with a plexiglass screen to protect the operator from thrown objects. In the event of a full breach, all on-site staff are to proceed immediately to the closest security station for weapons and armor distribution. Staff will remain at Alert Condition 1 until SCP-076-2 is confirmed neutralized. Should 90 minutes pass after declaration of full breach without stand-down order being given by Level 4 or higher personnel, final contingency measures will be activated, flooding the entire facility in seawater and sealing off access to the shaft for a minimum of 24 hours before retrieval is attempted. This will, by necessity, result in the deaths of all on-site staff. Description: SCP-076 consists of 2 components. A stone cube, SCP-076-1, and a human entity, contained within SCP-076-2. 076-1 is a 3-meter cube made of black speckled metamorphic stone. All surfaces outside and within SCP-076-1 are covered in deeply engraved patterns corresponding to no known civilizations. Radioscope analysis indicates that the object is approximately 10,000 years old. A door is located on one side, sealed with a lock, 0.5 meters within, surrounded by 20 smaller locks in a circular pattern. As one, as of yet, none of the keys have been found, making the door impossible to lock once closed. Interior temperature is approximately 93 Kelvin and cannot be altered by any means, internal or external. Directly in the center of the room is a 2.13 meter tall stone coffin, held in place and sealed shut by several chains of unknown make and substance, which are attached to the inner corners of 076-1. 076-2 resembles a lean Semitic human male in his late 20s. Hair is black, eyes are gray, skin tone olive. Subject is 1.96 meters tall and 81.65 kilograms in weight. Numerous tattoos depicting arcane and occult iconography are present all over the body, mostly in the form of leering demonic faces, and ranges from subtle to openly ostentatious. Subject, when encased inside 0761, is technically dead. However, occasionally, 076-2 will awaken, effectively reanimating, complete with all vital processes needed to sustain a living human being. Subject will then attempt to leave 076-1. If successful, the subject will enter a trance-like state and seek out the nearest human being, ignoring all other living things in the process. Upon coming in contact with living humans, 076-2 will enter a rage state in which it attempts to engage and kill all human beings encountered. To date, the subject's death has been shown to be effective in ending these rampages. Terminating 076-2 is often problematic due to significant physical abilities. Subject has superhuman strength and speed, and although not invulnerable, has shown remarkable ability to ignore pain and shock, pressing on despite what would be debilitating wounds on normal humans. Prior encounters have shown that 076-2 has the ability to do, among other things, rip through a reinforced steel security door over the course of 4 minutes of sustained assault, clear over 64 meters of distance under 3 seconds, take multiple 50 caliber BMG rounds to the head and survive for several minutes to continue killing despite severe damage to the cerebellum. Swat handgun and assault rifle caliber bullets out of the air with the length of a steel rebar. Survive for over 1 hour deprived of oxygen before finally asphyxiating. 0762's most unusual ability, however, is his ability to apparently materialize bladed weapons out of nowhere. Slow motion video footage reveals that the blades in question are actually pulled from a miniature dimensional rift described as a small hole in space. Where this portal leads is unknown, and as how 0762 is capable of generating said rifts. Footage of the blades in question shows them to be made out of a completely non-reflective black material appearing as a black void in space. As the blades rapidly vanish after leaving the subject's possession, no structural analysis is possible at this time. 0762 has effectively been killed several times in various manners. Sustained fire from multiple heavy caliber machine guns, asphyxiation, crushed beneath a 13.6 metric ton piece of elevator equipment, cremation through the use of thermite grenade placed directly inside 0762's open chest cavity. During the worst breach to date, Containment Area 25, previously housed 076, was forced to detonate its on-site warhead as a last attempt to contain 0762. while it was attempting to escape, resulting in total destruction of the site and all on-site personnel. 076-1 survived. Upon death, 076-2's remains will putrefy rapidly until reduction to dust. 0761 and the coffin within will then slam shut with great force, and the lock will rotate, sealing it shut. 0762 will then reform within the coffin, a process taking anywhere from 6 hours to 25 years. What posthumous analysis 076-2 exists shows that its internal system is highly different from our own, documented in data expunged. That's enough. Additional 076 was found in redacted Mongolia in 18 redacted by archaeologists from England. All members of the expedition were subsequently killed on a return voyage from home. 076 was recovered from the ship redacted by the Redacted Society, one of the organizations that later merged into the modern Global Occult Coalition, and placed on display in their inner sanctum. 076 remained in storage for redacted years until 0762 became active and escaped on redacted. The reason for 076 activation is currently unknown. It was at this point that the keys to the outer shell were lost. A massive manhunt lasting over 3 years and redacted took place until 0762 was incapacitated by redacted, killing it and causing it to reform inside 0761, by then retrieved and secured by agents of the SCP Foundation. Shektopic was in custody for 3 more years under constant supervision and was then terminated whenever it became active, although it occasionally was able to escape for short periods of time, often due to security breaches caused by attacks from other organizations. The Foundation's death toll due to this was redacted. After the last incident, the current procedures regarding 076 were implemented, although they are upgraded regularly to increase in technological standards. Classified for eyes only. SCP-076. All information regarding Project Able and Mobile Task Force Omega-7, Pandora's Box, are classified Q clearance by order of the O5 Council. By proceeding, you are acknowledging that you have clearance to view these files and that you receive need-to-know permission from the appropriate Level 4 or higher authority. Let's proceed. Mobile Task Force Omega-7 Incident Log. From Director Maria Jones, Record Keeping and Information Security Administration to Level 4 Administrators. Subject, RISA Update to Security Protocol Supplemental Form regarding SCP-076. File name Addendum 1, Project Able and Mobile Task Force Omega-7. Prior classification 05, new classification Level 3, need to know. Psychological profile on 076-2. 076-2 either possesses a mind constructed much differently than our own or is completely insane, with little empathy or ideas in a way that we would understand. Concepts such as sex, love, and equality are completely foreign ideas to 076-2, or at least in comparison to its way of viewing them. Subject has shown that it is completely disinterested in sex, barely differentiating between genders, except as a form of visual identification. Also, while subject has admitted greatly enjoying the act of killing, causing pain either emotionally or physically, holds no attraction to it. In short, a perfect sociopath. Intelligence tests have been widely inconclusive when applied to 076-2, and no accurate result has yet been obtained. This may be due to the alien thought process of the subject. 076-2, however, has shown that it has great knowledge of human anatomy, although in a highly violent context. Military tactics of open warfare, metallurgy, and strangely enough, the care of livestock. Subject has knowledge of several languages, including English, but most notable language of several dialects of ancient Sumerian, which seem to be its preferred language. SCP-076 has nothing but contempt for human beings. My camera has also stopped, leaving a very interesting look on my face. Ooh, 2 seconds on that. As much as that is comical, I must say. Let's see here. Yep, there's my chair. Okay. Oh, that's not good for documentation. Carrying on. 076 has nothing but contempt for human beings, with one exception. It seems to hold a wary respect for those it acknowledges as its superior. This was discovered when Agent Redacted, an agent who had previously had a large amount of experience with 076-2, did not appear once it escaped. Subject seemed distressed, asking several personnel where Agent Redacted was hiding. When it finally did learn the fate of Agent Redacted, killed in his collateral damage in an airstrike intended to halt the advance of SCP blank. SCP-0762 stopped its rampage and allowed itself to be escorted and restrained. The subject was then interviewed on its sudden drastic changes in its behavior. Beginning log. Dr. Redacted. Why are you so interested in the death of Agent Redacted? Subject begins swearing in ancient Sumerian. Why does his death bother you? You've killed many humans before, so why is he so... It's cut off by 076-2, now speaking English. Different? Because unlike you, unsumerian word untranslated, he was a challenge, a real enemy. Why would that be good for you? Every time you've awoken, you've tried to escape. He was responsible for apprehending you several times. Surely you must be glad he's dead. I would hardly expect you to understand. Do you know he managed to shoot me in the head over double-digit number of times? A man like that deserves to die in combat, so close to his opponent he could feel his breath. Not in some Sumerian words, untranslating, destruction ordered by cowardly kings and princes safe in their palace. The rest of you, 076-2 spits, disgust me. I don't even have the urge to strike you down. Subject is silent from then on, refusing to speak or respond. This indicates a possible psychological inlet to SCP-0762's mind, and it's possible to control and a possible control mechanism. Given the massive drain on resources 0762 causes attempts, due to its escape attempts, and considering Bowie Commission states desire to weaponize SCP projects for tactical purposes, I recommend we pursue this course of action as soon as possible. From doctors to redoctors regarding Project Omega 7, he said yes. Project Proposal Mobile Task Force Omega 7, Pandora's Box. Mission Statements. Support of 076-2, ABLE, in the field in high-risk tactical situations. Task Force Organization. Task Force Special Asset ABLE. Task Force Leader Redacted. 10 to 20 field agents divided into 5 teams of 3 to 5 each. Members of the team are to be personally selected from elite field agents by Subject Able himself in order to maintain a smooth relationship between the artifact and the mundane elements of the task force. Security Protocol. Able is to wear a device attached to the neck that, if triggered or tampered with, will immediately detonate, terminating 076-2 by way of complete destruction of his spinal cord, trachea, and all major blood vessels in the neck. A tracking device has also been attached to 076-2's person. It is to refrain from killing unless ordered to do so, and is to avoid causing damage to the organization's facilities. Armament and equipment. Team members are to be armed and equipped in accordance with the MTF doctrine. As Subject Able has shown no inclination to use firearms, or in fact no understanding of their use or tactical implications, is instead to be armed with one or more edged melee weapons of his choice. Addendum. For God's sake, blank. Find these guys something to do. Abel's getting bored and he started putting his team through live fire exercises. They get bullets. He gets training weapons. Have you ever seen someone break a man's jaw with a Nerf sword? He's not going to stop until he gets someone killed. Report by Dr. P&G, Project Omega 7. In light of SCP-0762's proficient use of Sumerian language, researchers have asked it to translate several documents. While it originally replied with disinterest, it has translated some of the documents it found worthy of its attention. Most of the documents chosen by 0762 were regarding battles or legendary heroes. One of his favorites in particular is the in particular being the Epic of Gilgamesh. However, one researcher presented it with a symbol from 073, also known as Cain. Upon sight of this, SCP-762 became highly enraged, killing several researchers before its kill switch could be activated. When revived and questioned about this, 0762 responded aggressively, and that line of questioning was immediately dropped. It is recommended anything pertaining to 073 never be brought to the attention of 762, and that the two are never able to be in the same facility. Recently, SCP-105 has been accepted to Mobile Task Force Omega 7, having beaten 0762 in a contest to see which of the two could activate several devices, each spaced over a mile away from each other and the starting point. 105 managed to score significantly higher than 0762 by using her inherent abilities to her advantage. 762 ceded defeat and allowed her entry into the group. Proposed introduction of 762 to 682 put an indefinite hold. Those with security clearance 4 or higher may request access to contingency 762 number 3. Per the request of the Brow Commission, Mobile Task Force Omega 7 is to be fielded in the redacted region of redacted against expunged. From Doctor to Dr. P&G, Project Omega 7. Don't do it, P. For God's sake, don't do it. It's bad enough that they're trying to weaponize Iris too. Don't let the military bully us into doing their dirty work against some sand farmers and... Ooh, that's pretty bad. Subject. A job well done. From General Blank Bowie to Dr. P&G. Excellent work, Doctor. The mission went exactly as expected. We'll be calling you again if we need your help. From Doctor to Dr. P&G. I hope you're fucking proud of yourself, motherfucker. Image hello.jpg because you're a bigger asshole than this guy. From Dr. P&G to Omega 7 team reassignment. As of this moment, Dr. Redacted has been reassigned to 682 as level 1 personnel. From Dr. P&G, Omega 7 to General Bowie. Problems. Despite our best efforts, Subject Able is proving difficult to control. All our attempts to keep him engaged have been more or less unsuccessful. The problem is, he's a perfect killing machine. That's all he wants to do. Which seems like exactly what we want, but the problem is we can't seem to turn him off. I'm running out of missions to give him, and the ones I've got left aren't engaging him mentally. He's starting to lash out at the other team members. It's only a matter of time before something goes wrong. Requesting permission to discontinue the project and neutralize Abel temporarily until we can find something more for him to do. General Bowie to Dr. P&G, in response to problems. Unacceptable. Neutralizing Subject Abel at this point is going to cause an unacceptable delay. We'll have another mission for you within a couple weeks. All you have to do is keep him busy until then. Send him on vacation or something. From Dr. P&G to all staff, alert. This is an automated alert. 762 has disabled the explosive collar failsafe and has gone out of control. All staff to high alert. Further requests as events warrant. Automated self-defense system, containment area 25, all sites, final option engaged. This is an automated message, do not reply. As of redacted, containment area 25 has engaged its on-site nuclear warhead in a 10-minute countdown. From O5 command to all sites. Containment area 25, final option, response. As of redacted, containment area 25 has been destroyed by detonation of its on-site nuclear warhead. Sites 67 and 68 are to activate the FEMA protocol and secure the location as soon as possible. Official cover story will be released by RISA and all personnel once drafted. Revised psychological profile of SCP-076-2. SCP-076-2 either possesses a mind constructed much differently than our own or is completely insane, with little empathy or ideas in a way we would understand it. Concepts such as sex, love, and equality are completely foreign ideas to SCP-076-2, or at least in comparison to its way of viewing them. Subject has shown that it is completely disinterested in sex, barely differentiating between genders except as a form of visual identification. Also, while subject seems to greatly enjoy the act of killing, causing pain, either emotionally or physically, holds no attraction to it. Intelligence tests have been widely inconclusive when applied to SCP-076-2, and no accurate results have yet been obtained. It's due to the fact that there is no communication possible with the subject when it's in its rage state. Subject displays knowledge of several languages, including English, but most notable is the knowledge of several dialects of ancient Sumerian, which it seems to be its preferred language. SCP-076 has nothing but contempt for the human beings and will kill them on sight. No communication is to be attempted with this subject. So, that has been 2 hours of some of my early and more favorite SCP articles. For anyone who dropped by, I do thank you for coming in. For my current viewer, thank you for coming by. I do appreciate it. I'm Gamer John, and I typically play games, but I thought today, being in a state that I am currently in and not full 100%ness, um, and having this topic that I wanted to go over a little bit and kind of share with, I thought I'd go ahead and do this for today. Uh, if you weren't here earlier and are not aware, SCP Foundation Wiki is a community writing project. It is a take and leave kind of system. You can take information that's already here, other stories from other people, take what you want, use a similar format. There are rules. And write your own articles to expand on this community writing project and leave your writings here for others to do the same. It is very open sharing, kind of highly creative project. It is unfortunately under attack by an individual in Russia who is taking out a trademark and is attempting to take control over the servers and websites hosted in the Eurasian region. It is something that I think that this is important because while it may be somewhat niche in its appeal, it represents an open writing collaborative uh, series of nothing less than art. It is 100% uh, just creativeness. And it's something that if it can't be monetized or used by mass media or society, does not get much time in the light. And the fact that someone in a different country, far away from us, is trying to do just that, to take control over the assets within the region that he is living in, to edit. One of the rules of this is that if you write something and it gets accepted, it is there forever for people to use and enjoy. But by gaining the control with the trademark that this individual is trying to use, he is going to be able to change things. At least in those regions, he'll be able to delete, edit uh, articles and works there, add ones himself that don't fit within the vein of this community writing project, and monetize it for personal gain. This SCP wiki has been inspirational to open games that you can find online that provide enjoyment, both as an individual and even as multiplayer games. These community-based projects are, you know, open and they are in the effort to express and create. Um, for those of you who may want to read more about what's going on in a more political fashion, um, there is a subreddit page where they posted about this. Let me pull up my feed so I make sure that you guys can see. Nope, not that. Grab my camera. Thank you. So this is the SCP subreddit. Um, the page is right up there. And this article talks about what I was just going over. This individual, Andrei Duskin, Russian man, legally registered an illegitimate trademark for SCP within the Euro-Asian Customs Union. They are currently working with a GoFundMe drive for legal funds to work with a representative in that uh, area to fight this trademark because they have to. If they don't fight this trademark, if they allow the trademark to stand for too long and try to come back to it later, uh, it's most likely not going to be able to be, you know, removed, and he's going to win. And he's going to take all of the like thousands and thousands of creative writings that people have added as a community, and they will be his to do with what he pleases within his regions. He could sell them off to, TV and movies to be made over there, for games or whatnot, or try to monetize existing games within his region as he would own the trademark. Um, this is something that, in my opinion, it's not cool. You shouldn't do this. You're being a dick. To be completely frank, it's not his, and he's trying to take ownership of it within his region at least, which means everyone in that region would be subject to his whims on what they get to see. And that's not the point of it. The point is, as long as you fit certain guidelines, you can add your work to it. So let's take a look real quick. So the GoFundMe is up to $151,870 um, dollars of a $50,000 goal. So they've gone over their goal quite a bit. They've tripled their goal, which is fantastic. And they do state, if we read more, right here. In the event, so this is talking about what they're going to be using the money for, which, filing lots of paperwork, legal costs, court fees, things like that. But also here, in the event that any money is remaining, uh, any money raised in this fundraiser remains following the conclusion of this lawsuit and any associated appeals. It will be held in an account specifically earmarked for the collective legal defense of the SCP Foundation branches. So what I'm hoping that they will do is that the original creators of this, who have started this, will be able to bring this trademark down. And I'm hoping what they will do is not only use this money to protect it in the future, but also establish their own trademarks, both here, in America and abroad in other countries, so that way it can be protected. And if the community, say, did vote on something that they wanted to participate in, wanted to lend this information to, then there would be a direct route to persons who could do this. Um, so if this is something that you're interested in, if in the time that you've heard me possibly terribly reading some of these articles, or if you go through them yourself and read them and you feel like donating, go ahead and do so. This isn't a donation uh, stream or anything like that, but it's just a personal kind of like hangout, talk about this kind of thing because it's important to me and it's important to many others out there. I hope everyone who dropped in. I know it's not my usual thing to do. I usually play games. I hope you did enjoy at least part of it. Maybe that weird face that my camera left up whenever it stopped recording. That was interesting. Yeah. But thanks again, everyone who came by. Really appreciate it. Take care of each other and yourselves, because that's all we got. Bye bye.